I am not designed to stay faithful to my wife. I am designed to want to explore with different girls. Very often, people mistake the way they were born for the way they were created. The very first thing I usually tell anybody who is interested in living purposefully is to deconstruct the mindset that purpose is the one thing that God created you to do. You see, many of these people who say they are struggling with some of this same-sex attraction, I can tell you that bulk of them simply got in there by some kind of training. Because no matter who you are, a man or a woman, if you keep feeding with same-sex pornographic content and all of that, it's only a matter of time. Or movies, you keep exposing yourself to such content, it's only a matter of time before that desire begins to build up on your inside. And this is the case for at least 70% of many persons who are in this boat.
Hello, you're welcome to Teen Life Series with Happiness Samuel. Here we talk about everything related to the teenage experience. We seek to answer mind-boggling questions teens ask and provide expert advice on how you can navigate this phase of your life and sail into adulthood successfully. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button now. Turn on your notification button so that you'll be the first person to know when we post new content. In today's episode, we'll be talking about something very crucial, something you need to navigate through this phase of your life, something you need to help you become a better person. And I am not going to be doing this alone. I have someone here who is very special, someone whom in him is embedded the wisdom needed for you to thrive as a young person. Without wasting much of your time, please, can you help me wherever you are? Can you just, clap? Can you just stand? Can you just help me welcome Mr. Wealth? He's my father, my mentor. Mr. Wealth, you're welcome to Teen Life Series. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Happiness, and the pleasure is mine.
All right, so I'll be asking him a few questions, and these questions are questions that young people ask on a daily basis, and he's going to be providing certain answers. Please, I want you to stay glued because you're going to be learning a lot. The things you'll be hearing from this session today will bring about transformation in your life. So down to the first question. Over the years, I've heard people talk about purpose, and when they talk about it, it's actually confusing. It's hard to find. They are telling you discover purpose, but in as much as they are teaching you how to, it's very difficult. They are making it look like it's something very complicated. So as someone who has been working in purpose for years now, can you tell us what purpose really is and how a young person out there can discover what it is?
All right. Thank you so much again for having me, Happiness, and then thank you for that beautiful question. And the very first thing I usually tell anybody who is interested in living purposefully is to deconstruct the mindset that purpose is the one thing that God created you to do. Yes, you are a being of multi-personality, multi-abilities, and as a matter of fact, in all of the creations of God, you never find God creating something and condemning it to just doing one thing. Yes, you look at the moon, look at the sun. What is the one purpose of the sun? Right here on earth, we use the sun for a lot of things. Yes. The sun gives us light, dries our clothes, keeps us warm, and then you would also begin to wonder, what is the one purpose of water? You use water to wash, you use it to bathe, you use it to cook, you drink, so much more you get. So if you look critically, you'll find out that all of the creations of God have multi-purpose. Now, this is the reason why anybody who goes with the mindset of purpose is the one thing that God has destined me to do will begin to experience a lot of conflicts. And that is why many of you right now, though you are young, full of life, full of talents, full of potentials, you are confused because among the many things you're doing, you're trying to condemn every other thing and then narrow down to that one thing you feel like God has called you to do. Every time I advise people around me concerning purpose, there's one key word I use often. I tell them, just play. Play. You see, your age as a teenager is an explorative age. It's the age where you are supposed to explore the different versions of you. You are full of life, full of potentials, full of a lot of talent, full of a lot of possibilities. And your age as a teenager gives you that ample opportunity to explore and develop most of these abilities. The truth of the matter is, bulk of what I'm doing now as an adult, I formed these abilities when I was a teenager. These abilities thrived when I was a teenager. Just like every other teenager, I wanted to be so many things. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be, a top musician. I wanted to own a music school. A lot of things, right? But in all of that, I discovered that my life was going stages by stages. There was a stage where bulk of my interest was on writing. I just wanted to just write. I loved poetry. I loved novel. I loved drama. I just wanted to write and read a lot of literature materials, And then gradually my life and my whole essence began gravitating towards music. And then I began doing music. Gradually I just started loving teaching, So, but all of those things felt like I was confused. Meanwhile, I was just playing. I was just exploring myself. I was just exploring everything unique that is embedded in me at that particular age. But the thing about exploring at a young age is that you will explore to a point where the version of you, the part of you that should be doing something at a particular season, will be formed and mature enough to take on that responsibility. So there was a time where it now looked like the music part of me was taking over. But right now, everything has been married together. I write, I teach, I sing. All of these abilities were things I explored when I was a teenager. In fact, right now, I don't even have much time to play piano anymore, but the bulk of the music keeping me now were some of the stuffs I learned when I was a teenager. So to every teenager out there, my advice to you would be that you give attention to those little abilities on your inside, hone them, give thorough attention to them. Do not try to be obsessed about the one thing you were created to do, because essentially that is not what purpose is. And then purpose again is not what you hate and what you want to solve, For example, I don't like death, and I'm sure you don't like death, and it is not our purpose to kill death, So usually I tell people, I said, purpose is simply the problems, the solution that you can bring per time, per season to certain issues around you, exploring the different abilities in your life per time and per season. That's to say, purpose is simply any problem that is within your ability to solve per time and per season. So you will be in certain seasons of your life where it looks like this is its direction, and then when it looks like you've built a system around the solution you can bring, you gravitate towards the next one. So I just do hope that this blesses. And lastly, don't live your life trying to discover purpose. Be purposeful instead. Be purposeful. Live every single day of your life purposeful. Wake up in the morning and then have purposes for that day. You read this book, I'll cover this book, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll listen to this message. Once you begin to channel your life towards a purposeful end, you will discover that your life will begin to accumulate a lot of value that solves many problems around you and in society as well. So that's it.
All right, the way people talk about this purpose, they talk about it like you have to go and dig, it's like a treasure that you go and dig a hole to find, like it's lost, it's somewhere far. So what do you have to say about that?
Actually, purpose is not lost. Purpose is not lost. So usually when someone says, I'm looking for purpose, and I'm wondering, where are you looking for it? Like God created you and then hid your purpose. You're not looking for your eye, you're not looking for your ear, you're not even looking. Everything about you is right there with you. Purpose is right there with you. In fact, the distraction comes when you begin to look away from your inside to start trying to look for something outside, trying to discover it, trying to find it. It's inside you. Like I said, pay attention to your abilities, pay attention to your area of interest. Yeah. Just pay attention, and then pay attention to the things that come so easily at you. For example, music is so natural with me. Writing is so natural with me. Teaching is so natural with me. I feel so alive anytime I'm doing it. And the interesting thing is, you don't have to pay me. I feel so alive. I can do it without money. So if you find that spot in your life and you find that spot in your interest, then give it attention. That's purpose. That's God pointing your attention to the value He has called you, He has embedded in you, and then the solution you can deliver to your world. So pay attention to it, and that's it. You become purposeful. So rather than trying to discover purpose, be purposeful instead.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Okay, to add to it, when God was creating you, when He created me, He actually put in everything we need to survive on earth. He put in everything we need to solve the issues around us. So you have the ability to solve certain issues. And when certain things come at you, you need to ask yourself, what can I do to help? What can I do to salvage this situation? This is you being purposeful. As little as writing down a post on Facebook is you being purposeful. Exactly. As little as going out for evangelism and preaching to others is you being purposeful. As little as living a life that can inspire people is you being purposeful. So purpose is just you living the life God has designed for you to impact humanity and to help people around you live life better, because you are here to make the world a better place. Actually. So if you're not doing anything that is making the world a better place, you're not being purposeful. Actually. So that is what it is. So down to the second question. All right. So this question is actually a dicey and critical one. No, I've heard young person say, I feel like a guy saying, I feel like a girl, and a girl saying, I feel like a boy. And they tend to ask, was I actually born this way? Is it natural for me to feel like this?
All right. I will first of all begin with something totally abstract before I answer the question. Very often, people mistake the way they were born for the way they were created. So people often say, I'm a guy, but I feel like a girl. Or I'm a guy and I feel attracted to my fellow guy, that this is how God created me. A lot of persons take that position to try to find succor in their imperfection and in their weakness. But that position often is informed by people who are mistaking how they were born for how they were created. You see, God created you a perfect spirit, but He did not create you fair or dark. It was the genetics of your parents that determined that. God created you a perfect spirit. He did not create you tall or short. It was the genetics of your parents that determined that. God created you a perfect spirit, but He did not create you AS or SS. It was the genetics of your parents that determined that. If the both of your parents are ugly, God will not do magic and make you beautiful. Yes. If the both of your parents are short, God will not do magic and make you tall. And especially if everybody in your family, extended family, they are short. My dear, you will be short. So, and you can't say that was how God created me. Now, you have to understand that the creations of God are spiritual. God creates people in the spiritual. Every single one of us, we have an ordination created by God spiritually. And then every single human that you see is first an eternal spirit created by God and then shot from eternity into time. So the process of coming into time through the womb and then taking on flesh already bestows upon that spirit the fallen nature of the flesh, which is the fallen nature of Adam, inherited from Adam. Understand? So that fallen nature comes with a lot of imperfections, a lot of weaknesses. But howbeit you are perfect in your spirit, but the vessel, the flesh, the casement embodying, carrying the spirit is subject to a fall, an inherited fall. Yes. You understand? So that's to say, this flesh is capable of a lot of nuisances. For example, in my natural make as a man, I am not designed to be faithful to one wife. Yes, the fallen nature inside of me would want to explore with many women as possible. Yes. Secondly, it's not natural for me to forgive. If you offend me, I want to get back at you. It's my nature. That's the nature of the fallen man. So if I have to extend forgiveness and love, I have to learn it. But this time around, I have to learn it from my spirit. But howbeit, God created and installed love, forgiveness, peace, gentleness, faithfulness in my spirit. But this flesh that I'm wearing, that my spirit is wearing, is subject to a lot of corruption. So, what does God expect from us? This is where Jesus comes into play. God does not expect for us to live at the level of the corruption of our flesh. God expects that we switch. We try to check the original template from which He created us. We try to check His original ordination, and then we live from there. So that's to say, we live from our spirit to the physical, not from the physical to the spirit. So when you understand this, you will no longer pattern your life around how you feel. People are feeling like terrible things these days. You see an adult like 70 years is feeling like a baby and is pushing that he deserves to be treated like a baby. I've seen an old man wearing pampers and he should be treated like a baby. Shebi, the world wants to define reality on what they feel like. People are feeling like leopards these days. People are feeling like devils these days. People are feeling all manner of feeling. So it is wrong to subject reality to how you feel. But that is because your feeling many times is a question of illusion. And you see many of these people who say they are struggling with some of this same-sex attraction, some of them are sincere, however, but some of them, I can tell you that bulk of them simply got in there by some kind of training. Because no matter who you are, a man or a woman, if you keep feeding with same-sex pornographic content and all of that, it's only a matter of time. Or movies, you keep exposing yourself to such content, it's only a matter of time before that desire begins to build up on your inside. And this is the case for at least 70% of many persons who are in this boat. And then those other people who say this is how they were born, some of them from small, they just discover that they have these effeminate characteristics, and then though they are men, but they just naturally feel attracted to their fellow men. Remember, like I said before, that we must not mistake the way we were born for the way we were created. That's because when God releases a spirit, like I said, you as a man, you are first a spirit. You are a spirit shot from eternity. When God released you as a spirit from eternity into time, you wearing this body, biological processes brought upon you some kind of imperfection. And some of this imperfection, they are inherited by genetics. Now, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just trying to lay a foundation. You understand? For example, now, if a man who has had a very rough life as a youth, he slept with a lot of girls, and then, let's say, he also messed up and slept with his fellow men as well. If he gives birth to a child, there is a high tendency that child from small will begin to have that kind of soul property on his inside. Yes, this is why it's biological to an extent. This is why you find out that in this generation, young people, once they gave birth to they are just 2 months, and many of them are naturally attracted to technology. Naturally attracted to technology. Why are they getting that attracted? It is because this generation, every single one of us, if there's one thing we invest thoroughly into, it is technology. An average human now spends close to like 4 hours a day with technology, with his phone. Yes. So because of how much we've invested time and exploration into it, it has now become an imprint upon our soul. So when we give birth to people, when we give birth to children, naturally they are just drawn to technology. They cannot explain why. It's part of the DNA. That's because there is a soul imprint. It's just like I've been around Revival Hub Apostle Edu, and I've seen his little son. Every time they are praying, this boy will just start praying. Okay. Who taught him how to take that position of prayer? Wow. Who taught him how to want to pray like that? The father has so prayed to the point where prayer has become a core component of his soul. You understand? So any seed that comes from him, one way or the other, there'll just be a little rub-off. It's just like I am now. I'm a singer. I sing very often. Music is a thing with me. So it's only natural that I will give birth and in fact, I don't even need to go and do DNA test. The way to know is if you like music and you'll be drawn to music. Do you get? Yes. So I'm trying to say, this is also to say to us as adults, as young people, those ones who are yet to get married, mind the life you are living now. You are sleeping with 20 men, 100 men, and you feel like nothing. You may repent quite well, but you see, the processes to which you wash your soul away from some of this corruption is not an easy process. And if you are not able to achieve that, there will be some rubbing off on your children. You just discover that one of your child is a guy, but is naturally attracted to his fellow guy. And you'll be wondering, say, maybe you must have slept with a guy when you were young. You must have slept with a guy that's attracted to his own fellow guy. So you have trapped that soul property on your inside. These things, one way or the other, rub off. Do you get? So, but the advice I would give to anybody who is in this shoe, down to the question now, I'm answering it. I've laid the foundation. So, do not buy into the narrative that was how God created you. Because the moment you buy into that narrative, you will kill every desire to fight it. Yes. It's just like I said, by my nature, by the fallen nature, I am not designed to stay faithful to my wife. I am designed to want to explore with different girls. It's the fallen nature. So, if I have to stay faithful to my wife, I have to submit that part of me to Jesus. Yes. And I have to read from his blueprint. Allow by the Spirit of God to work in me sanctification, to bring out the life that I was supposed to live by God's ordination, so that it can overwhelm my flesh, and I can be living from the inside out, not from the outside in. I can be living from my spirit to my flesh, not from my flesh to my spirit. Do you understand? Yes, so, the feeling of homosexuality, yes, you may have discovered that even from a little age, you've started having that feeling. Some of these things could be as a result of biological alterations, but it surely cannot be that it is the way God created you. Because even the book of Romans said that, Romans chapter 1 said that we can look at the physical creations of God and understand even the Godhead. Yes. So that's to say, part of how we can get to understand the spirit world is to check the physical world. Said there is a lot of physical equivalence to bear witness to the fact that God did not create Adam and Steve. God created Adam and Eve. I mean, for what it is, like, you would never see a male lion going to go and have attraction for the fellow male lion. You will never see a female lion having sexual attraction for the fellow female lion. You don't, even the cockroaches in your house, even the rats in your house, this is not even a jungle trait. You don't find it in jungles. And these animals, they are beings of lower intelligence. Mm-hmm. So, if we would even expect this kind of attitude, it should be from them, because they don't have that intelligence, they don't have that rationality, yes. Right? So, how come humans, beings of higher intelligence, beings created by God, beings that God put in charge of the earth, are the ones functioning like this? Shouldn't the creations of God around you testify to you that if this is not the order of creation, this is not the order, it's a misnomer. Yeah. So you should not now interpret it that was how you were created. So, like I said again, do not approach this as a normal thing. If you have ever been taught that it's a normal thing, if you've ever been taught that was how God created you, that's simply an agenda from the new world agendists in order to try to create a new normal. So what I would advise is submit to Jesus. Take your walk with the Lord seriously. When I mean seriously, take it really, really seriously. Every one of us, we all have a measure of the impact of the fall. Yes. There are some of us that are naturally drawn to money. Mm-hmm. There are some of us, some persons are naturally drawn to women. Some persons are naturally drawn to lying. But howbeit, when we come to Jesus, what Jesus does by the provision of salvation is that we are now empowered to live from God's blueprint by His Spirit. So as we invest daily in our walk with the Lord, as we study His Word, as we invest in fellowship, as we fellowship with the brethren as well, what we are doing is there's an activation from our inside that is ensuring that we live from our ordination down to the physical. So that's my answer.
And these people, it's not like they don't feel like what they are doing is actually wrong. They just want to justify themselves, and they just want this feeling of, I am right. I know what I'm doing. But deep down, they know that this thing is not. Exactly. This is where you get to hear them say, I am being discriminated. Then they now form.
They become all defensive, and then they go join the community. And if you are like that and you are in that community, you are almost making it impossible to want to break out, because they will begin to feed you with a lot of ideas. They will begin to feed you with a lot of philosophies, and the goal is to sear your conscience with a hot iron and make sure that you don't have anything inside of you to fight it anymore. And once you get there, that's it. You will begin to stay in that compromise and begin to proclaim God's love.
And then the annoying part of it is that they are now saying they are Christians. The word Christian is now what they use to justify themselves. Yes, it's normal for me to do like this. After all, I'm a Christian.
There are some Christians that are sincerely struggling with this. And then there are some of them that they have gone over. Are you getting me? Like, they have gotten into, how do I call it? Is it hypocrisy? They've gotten into the wrong path. That's to say, they have embraced it, and they are trying to embrace it with their left hand and still embrace Christianity. Meanwhile, there are some of them that have been saved by the Lord. They are Christians, but this is a sincere struggle for them, and they are fighting it. You understand? So, but for those ones who are sincere Christians and they are fighting it, another thing again is try as much as you can to embrace accountability and do not feed that thing. I've cancelled a lot of persons, and I can tell you, bulk of the people that I have cancelled that are in this particular boat, many of them are cultured by pornography. They watch same-sex movie, they watch same-sex adult material, and you want to break free. How? It's impossible. Almost anybody can get into this boat. Almost anybody can begin to struggle with same-sex attraction the moment they begin to feed on movies like that and on pornographic content. So if you're listening to me, please avoid such materials. It is possible. It is possible. Avoid such materials. The Lord will help you. The Lord will help you.
And then if you're a teenager watching this, please try as much as possible to not associate with people with your struggles. It will not help. Please leave that company. Look for people that are not struggling and try to seek help from them. This is where you get help from. So we'll move over to the next question. So I have actually faced this struggle as a young person growing up, and I know that many persons can actually relate to this question I'm about to ask now. So as a young person, I faced restrictions from my dad. I faced a lot of pressure from him, and it's not like I was doing something wrong. I just loved the Lord. I just wanted to do the things of God. I grew up from a Christian home. You trained me to go to church. You trained me to do the things of God, to be passionate about the things of God. But I am not trying to do these things, and you are having doubts. You are restricting me. I want to go for an event. You will tell me, don't go. So how can a young teenager deal with this pressure and restrictions when it has to do with following God and pursuing the purpose God has designed them to do?
Well, you see, this particular issue, it is not peculiar to you. I think every single one of us who ever felt the fire of purpose at a very early age and began pursuing it, we also felt this resistance. And I think it's very natural with parents, and you won't blame them. The reason why it's quite natural with them is because imagine you they gave birth to you. They saw the very first day you raised your first cry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You put on their clothes, they washed your bum bum, and then they put you napkin. They saw you crawling. They saw you standing. They saw you trying to walk and fall. And then they saw you at the point where they led you to your first school. And suddenly you now grow up and you want to now start making decisions on your own, So it's hard for them to take. So part of the reasons why that resistance comes first is I think they are trying to adjust. Okay. Your parents are trying to adjust to this new version of you, that now knows what they want to pursue, to this new version of you that now knows what is best for them. They are trying to adjust. I still remember the first time I had a program at Bayelsa. It would be my first time of traveling out of Port Harcourt. My mother was not comfortable with it. My mother tried everything, But even my father at a point, my father looked at it. My father was like, from what God told him about me, that I have a destiny in this line, that they should just allow me. And that was it. I went for the first time, and that is so. The second time I wanted to go again, they now gave me liberty. So the advice I'm going to give you as a young teenager is coined in a word of my coinage. I use it very often. It's called creative rebellion. Now, it's not that kind of disrespectful rebellion. It's the kind of rebellion where you know what you want and you are consistent in pursuing it. It's that kind of rebellion that makes you determined in the face of persecution. Do you understand what I mean? Like, yes, now.
There was a day I went for an event and I came back. My mom was like, where are you? Your dad is looking for you. I came back. I said, anything you want to do, do. He said, you leave me. I said, anything you want to do, told me. I have gone. And then he started telling me that I have a mind on my own. I say, yes, I have a mind on my own.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying be rude and I'm not saying be disrespectful to your parents, because there is at a point where you would think you know what's best for you, yes. But you also need the guidance of your parents. But I'm just trying to say that determination to persevere no matter the persecution, especially if you're doing something right. So you have to stay consistent. That's it. Stay consistent in pursuing that purpose, and very soon your parents will adjust. Then the second thing I am going to advise is position yourself in a way that wins the trust of your parents.
Yes.
Some of you, your parents cannot release you to go for prayer meeting. They doubt that you are going for prayer meeting, basically because you don't live a life of prayer in the house. They watch you from Monday to Sunday. You don't have a quiet time where you pray. They've never seen you with a Bible. And then the next week, you are telling them that you want to go for a prayer meeting. My friend, they will think you are going to go and see a man. Yes. Because some of them, that was the game they played. You understand? When they were young. But when they see you pray very often, when they see you come to the parlor and tell them, let us pray. When next you will tell them you are going for a prayer conference, it's easy for them to release you because they know that, okay, we can testify that this person, it is his life. And secondly, you don't have good character. You go to pray on Monday, go to pray on Tuesday, go to pray on Friday, go to prayer every single week. And then when your mother tells you to wash plates, you are resisting, you are rebellious. Are you getting me? Yeah. You go for all the conferences, every conference around Port Harcourt or in your vicinity, you are attending. Every retreat you are attending, but there's no testimony of good character in your life. How will your parents believe that you're actually going there? They would think that, okay, all this while this person keeps telling us that she's going there, maybe she's going somewhere else. Because there is no way this person is going to this retreat that this person keeps saying, I keep going there, that you will not see a little bit of transformation and all of that. So live your life in a way that wins the trust of your parents. The moment your parents are won over, the moment they trust you, the moment they know that this is who my child is, that's it.
Some of these things, we are the problem. We are actually the problem. So one of those days, I think my dad was constantly complaining of how I used to come home late after church. I was the teenage president then, so I had a lot of responsibilities. I had to count the offering, record them, and do a whole lot before I get home. And then he has just been complaining, you come home late, what do you do in church after service and the rest of I'm like, I do something. It's not like I just sit down there and I have nothing to do. So one of those days I tried my best to leave church early. I had to go home early to go and prepare food for him. And he was shocked. He was like, today that you came back early, what happened? And I noticed that changed a lot for me. It reduced the way he talked. It reduced the way he used to complain. I came to understand his own point. He goes home and there's nobody to give him food. Yeah. So I understood that his complaints, him shouting at me and doing certain things, is from a place of seeing that I am doing something wrong and I need to watch it. So I had to start.
Exactly. That's why, again, too, you need to understand the angle your parents are coming from, too. You understand? So, like I said, be of good behavior. And then thirdly or fourthly, whatever point we are in now, try as much as you can to be open to your parents. For example, as a young lady, if a brother, an uncle in church tried to make some advances at you and you told your mom that, see, this uncle in church tried this or tried that, your mom will feel like, okay. And then maybe someone else tried it, you told your mom. You understand? Your mom will feel confident that, okay, if I'm releasing my child to go for this conference or go for this retreat, if anybody tries anything at this my child will come and speak to me and confide in me. Do you understand? But some of you keep secrets a lot. You don't tell your parents anything. That is why they will not trust you. And lastly, to parents, if you're a parent listening to this, or if you're a teenager that is watching this, it's okay to send this to your parents. I recommend 2 things. Number 1, have dialogue with your parents. Sit them down. Talk with them. Let them know the direction your passion is going. Let them know where you currently are in life. Let them know what is your drive. And then passionately plead with them to give your purpose a chance. I believe that a sincere dialogue, because there are some things your parents will see that will make them feel like, my child is coming of age. You understand? For example, they keep persecuting you. Don't go here, don't go here, don't go. One day, in the morning, you just wake up. Daddy, mommy, come please, sit down. Let's talk. We want to talk. By the time, that shock. That shock. So by the time you sit them down and tell them, thank you for how you've trained me, that you did your best and you have trained a very responsible teenager that is burning for God, and honestly, anybody who hears it to be proud of you. But I feel like I'm at this point in my life, like Jesus would say to his parents, don't you know that at this point when I should be about my father's business? There is that point where responsibility will always call, and for you who is a parent watching this, you have to understand that the shofar, the trumpet of responsibility and purpose, we call on every one of us at different points in life. For some of us, we hear it very early. Like for me, I heard it very early. As at age 12, I was already writing my first book. I was exploring. In fact, in the house that time, once my dad is looking for plug, spanner, he knows who to go to. That's my younger brother. But whenever he's looking for his missing book, he just knows it's me. He will just, I read things. I will look for books. I will go and hide. I will go to my father's library, pick books and go and read. That was the responsibility of purpose summoning me early. As at age 12, my dad saw that part of me and picked interest in it, and even went further to publish my first book as at age 15. Wow. You understand? So pay attention to the growth of your children. You see, being a parent, being a father, being a mother is not just all about providing money for your children, taking them to school. No, it also includes you providing purpose support, providing mental support, providing emotional support, providing spiritual support. And as traditional parents in Africa, they just feel once they take you to school, once they pay your school fees, once they feed you and give you your clothes, they've done everything for you. But actually, you see that emotional support, you see that purpose support, you see that spiritual support. That is actually what makes for the formation of any child. And dear parents, you can't outsmart your children, no. Your children, you can't outsmart them. Oh. Jesus, there's a whole lot that this generation knows that you don't know. So the best way to try to grow them is not to control. Try to partner. For example, when I was a young teenager, my dad was so strict about women coming to the house. Hey, Jesus. One of those days I was sick, I didn't come to school. So my female prefect and senior prefect, I was a senior prefect, so the female SP came to the house to come and ask why I didn't come to school. That day, I didn't get it cool, But my dad was that strict, and I kind of understand, maybe. He didn't want me to make some of the mistakes he made as a young man. But the truth of the matter is, when I had my first girlfriend, he didn't know. That's the thing. He didn't know. When I had second girlfriend, he didn't know. As a teenager, by the influence of some of my friends anyways. But thank God I stopped at that. He did not know. So you see, in his heart now, he will feel like he has persecuted person. But these children are smart. He will not know. We live in a very smart generation. What you would rather do is ensure that you are the best friend of your children. Yeah. So much so that they can come to talk to you. So much so that they can confide in you. Sometimes if you even poke them, ask them question, is there any guy you are liking? Or is there any guy that is already liking you? Just jokingly, some of them will just, playfully tell you that this person in school that is liking me small. You can now sit your child down and try to educate your child. Tell your child that it is only natural, actually, to feel this at this age, to want to feel that connection and that pressure. But this is what you should do. Ensure that you keep this aspect of you and focus on purpose, focus on this, and then at a certain age when you are ready, this is when you should do this is when you should do that. Trust me, that atmosphere of openness, purpose, purity, character, discipline will thrive more. But trying to go hostile against your children, especially when they are feeding the fire of purpose, you will end up raising a rebellious child. Or if you don't raise a rebellious child, you raise someone more dangerous, and that is a conquered teenager. A teenager that is afraid to give expression to his purpose. A teenager that has been submerged, subdued. They just feel like there is nothing good that can come out of them. Why? Because when they are trying to breathe, when they are trying to come out of themselves, parental resistance buried them inside. And what you are simply doing is you have just reduced your child to your insecurity, reduced your child to your suspicion. The destiny of your child is too strong. If you feel like you have done a good job as a parent, you shouldn't be afraid. When your child, you will not be with your child forever. Your child will go to school, will be in the university. You will not be there to always control him. So you should be preparing your child for such a time. So this is one of the reasons why it looks like children leave their parents and go to the university to become something else totally. That's because the training model of the parents usually does not come with a level of sincerity. It does not come with a level of openness. It comes with control. It comes with force. It comes with coercion. It comes with manipulation. So it's like a weight. You are no longer experiencing parenting. It's like you are experiencing dictatorship. So the moment you now leave your parents and gain that little window of freedom, you want to now do everything, explore. So this is where a lot of teenagers get very bad. You understand? But if as parents, we can look at these people and try to give them sincere guidance, I am sure that we will trust them not to disappoint when they get there. Bible says, train a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So there is a blueprint to which a child should go. You are not supposed to be creative with the way you train your child. Scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go. There is the way he should go. So much so that if you give attention to that way that he should go, when he is old, he will not depart from it. And what is that way that a child should go? It is the way of the Lord. So if you are ever in a place where your child is developing passion for the Lord, it is something to be proud of, and you should water it. I'll stop here.
All right, to add to this, please, parents, evolve. Stop training your child the way they trained you. We are in a new age. We are in a new era. A lot has changed.
Let me repeat that one. Stop training your child the way they trained you. It's important to...
It's a problem. My mother did this to me. You will... Can you please just stop? Please, I am putting my hands together and I am begging you. Please, evolve.
And some of them are training their children from their own insecurity.
Yes.
You know, when they were young, they lied to their parents that they were going to church and then went to their boyfriend's house. They lied to their parents that they are going to choir rehearsals and went to their boyfriend's house. So once their children, they have grown now, and then their daughter comes to them and says, I'm going to choir rehearsals. What they did to their own parents comes to their mind. I seen the thing. So it is dangerous to train your children from the history of your insecurity, from the history of the things you did not do right when you were young. Rather, what you should just focus on is give them the life you didn't have. Give them the privilege. Introduce them to Christ early. If you did not meet Christ early, ensure that your children are introduced to Christ early. Teach them the truth early. Expose them to sexual purity teachings early. Expose them to purposeful teachings early. Expose them to leadership teachings early. Expose them to a productive life early and watch them thrive from there.
And please, there are a lot of trainings, parental trainings ongoing. It is not wrong for you to enroll in one. We do not know everything. My parents, you do not know everything. You cannot know everything. So there are a lot of trainings. Please enroll.
Exactly.
Learn. You need to know what it is like to be a parent now. In this 21st century. You need to know what it looks like. So enroll in trainings, learn, evolve, and watch your children grow better. Because they deserve it.
There is something I tell people often. I've never stolen all my life. I've never stolen a pin. And what brought me to that point was because my dad so trusted me that I don't steal. He so trusted me. And that thing formed an imagery in my head. It became so strong that if I'm going to school and I pick money on the road, I'll pick that money and go to the house and tell my father, I saw this money on the road. I picked it for you. My father will look at it, collect it, and go and put it in church offering. Sometimes I'm going out to buy something and I see money on the road. I'll pick it and send it back to my father and say, see. What brought me to that level of discipline? It was simple. That my father trusted me this much. That I don't steal. That thing changed so much in my head. You know, calling your children name. Thief! You are this. You are a bad person. Oh, you have no idea what you are doing. You just don't have any idea. As much as you can, ensure to speak empowering words over your children. Even though your child was caught stealing. When you bring your child, don't begin to put that thief to the person's face. Rather, tell the person, I know who I gave birth to. I know you are not like this. You may have been pressured and all of that, but I know this is not you. I trust that you don't steal. This was a mistake.
I was talking to my students, my trainees in school, and I was talking to them on identity, and I had to tell them what forms their identity. Environment, parents, church, school. So I told them to write down what they felt like they were, who they are. And some of them wrote certain things. I also asked them that they should write down what their parents called them. And some of them were writing, my mommy says I'm dull. My auntie says, I don't know anything. I cannot be anything. And when I look at them, I see that these students are not actually doing well in school. And they come to school and their teacher is also telling them they are dull. So it's a lot. If the parents are not doing their job at home, it's going to be a problem. And then I look at the one that says I am very brilliant. So I got to find out that this boy, the parents, they've been telling him that he's very brilliant. So even if he doesn't do well as he should, he tells himself, I am brilliant. My mommy says I am brilliant, and I believe I am brilliant. And this already is a step ahead for him. So parents, please watch what you say to your children. Unknowingly to you, these words are forming who they are becoming. They are forming their personality. They go out there and they are feeling timid. They are feeling like nothing good can come out of them, not knowing that it is your words. People are formed by words. Everything on earth was made by the word of God, and everything responds to the word. Your word is very powerful. It can light up a fire according to the scriptures. Your words are very powerful. So let's talk about children that feels like teenagers that feel like their parents don't love them. Because when I was a teenager, there was a friend of mine that came to me and she was like, I don't think my mother loves me. And I had to ask her why. She told me that she wore an earring and the mother saw it. The mother doesn't like earring. The mother saw it and the woman pounded her like pounded yam. Like the beating was so much that she felt like her mother hated her. And you know the amazing thing, she actually got pregnant for a guy, and currently now she's somewhere in Benue State with one guy like that. They did not marry her properly. This was because she felt loved outside. A guy just came to her and told her that I love you, and she fell for it because all her life she has felt like her mother doesn't love her. So what do you tell these young people that feel like their mother or their parents do not love them?
First and foremost, I think I felt the same way too. I felt the same way growing up. I felt at a point that my mother prefers my other siblings to me, and I'm sure that many of you have felt that way too. But bulk of the times, all of those feelings and emotions are just teenage energies. They are not really true. If you're listening to this, you will never find as much love anywhere as you would find in family. The people you think love you outside family, trust me, when the chips are down, it will still be family that will stand for you. Families, the love of family is usually unconditional. So they will accept you, and sometimes you also have to understand that the love language of a generation differs. The love language of a generation differs. Like the love language of the people born in the 1960s and the love language of the people born in 2010 is not the same. This is the reason why parents must continually evolve and update and upgrade as well in their parenting skills. Okay. Right? So one of the reasons why it looks like there is always that contrast, because a mother beats a child not out of hatred. Scripture says, spare the rod and spoil the child. A father beats a child, disciplines a child, not out of hatred. But there is a sense in which you can be disciplining a child, and there is another sense in which the child is interpreting it as hatred. Okay. So you must ensure that in your bid to apply discipline, to administer discipline, you are doing it with love. So that's to say, beat with the left hand, bring closer with the right hand. It's important. Because once your children cannot find that love and acceptance at home, they will find it elsewhere. I'm telling you the truth, and this is why, I've seen a lot. I speak with a lot of teenagers, many of them pastors' children, I can tell you that a lot of parents don't know what their teenagers are going through. Yeah. Many of them don't know how terrible they feel. Many of them don't know how the words they speak to them, out of the bid to correct them, many of them don't know how hurtful and how much it shapes them. So, the advice I'm going to give to parents and to teenagers as well, for the teenagers, try to understand your parents. They are trying to be the best that they can. They will not discipline you because they hate you. Not at all. True. It's easy to feel like they hate you until you are in their shoe. You will soon be a parent. Don't worry.
It was when I understood this, that was when I came to appreciate everything my dad was doing to me then. I was thinking he was being wicked. When I came to understand what he was doing and from what ground he was doing everything he was doing, I came to appreciate it. I cannot do certain things now because of the way my father trained me. Exactly. I cannot do certain things. I still have that fear in me that I cannot do this one or this one. It's a no. Mm-hmm. So whatever your parents are doing to you, though they may be doing it wrongly, but it's from a place of love. And you should not take it extreme. Because when you grow up, you get to understand.